Happy Holy Day, Moors. Happy Holy Day, Moors. Thank you for tuning in to a house of reawakening minds that exists to provide for exploration and practice of spirituality in an enlightened community dedicated to honoring the myriad of sacred pathways to the universal creator. We are a holistic center for spiritual grounding, free thought, self discovery, and Moorish science, an awakening experience for all ages. This evening, get ready to get your pens and paper out. We have none other than Shem Malachi Bey and Abdullah Talib Mosley Bey, clarifying the misconception about the Moorish Treaties and the United States Constitution.
Islam, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Beta Makum. It is, once again, it's great to be here. All right. We have our contract law course coming up this next Saturday. Contract law course, Saturday, September 19th, 12 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You go on the House of Awakening. Also, is also on the House of Awakening Mind, the flyer, Tammy Hill's Facebook page, Abdullah Bey's Facebook page, United Republic of Morocco's Facebook page. All right, you'll see the contract law flyer. I also will be giving that message at the end of the class today. All right. Yes, clarifying misconceptions about Moorish treaties and the United States Constitution. We definitely want to continue to do that as we've been teaching people jurisprudence and history through treaty studies. So there is misconceptions about what we have been teaching over the past year and a half. And we want to provide clarity, crystal clear clarity to those misconceptions. All right, I want to bring up Brother Terrence. Brother Terrence, you come here, please. I need you to come up here, please, Brother Terrence, and then grab the mic and then explain to us, explain to the audience. I need you to show it too. I need you to so they can see it. I need you to show that demonstration. All right, and we need this clarity. All right, Terrence is going to come up here and you're going to show this demonstration so that gives us the chance to clear it up. Thank you, Brother Terrence. All right, you need these papers, you need this here. All right, come up here, demonstrate us for here. Brother Terrence is going to come up here and demonstrate for us. All right, so we can provide some clarity up here. He's going to come up here and demonstrate. All right, so it gives opportunity to clarity. Thank you. I'm just trying to get them up here because they need to see it. They need to see it.
All right. Question. Just want to know how should Moors enforce the Constitution, or should Moors enforce the Constitution and the treaty as together, one and one, or are there separate instruments? Whereas though Moors should enforce the Moorish treaties as our protection, or Constitution at all? All right. Or should we use them together?
So are you saying, because I want to provide some clarity here. All right. You're saying that it's been said that the United States Constitution and the Moorish treaties, as in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between His Pure Majesty Emperor Morocco and United States 1787, that treaty and the United States Constitution should be stapled together, should be, all right, considered as one, all right? And it has also been said that we, Shem and I, that is not good to do this, separate Moorish treaties, United States Constitution. That, are you saying that it should be United States Constitution and Treaty 1? All right? Am I right on that?
That is the question.
All right, is that the question?
Should they be used as together, or should they be used separately as the Constitution?
As separate documents, or should they be connected as one document? Should the Moorish Treaty, or as in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1787, and the United States Constitution, should they be viewed as one document, one instrument, or should they be viewed separately? All right, is that
correct?
All right, because I want to be crystal clear as to what has been said. All right, because that is important. So that gives us opportunity to provide clarity. This is what we're here tonight to do. All right, thank you, Brother Terrence. All right, Shem.
Now, you have to understand the Constitution derives its authority from the Articles of Confederacy. It derives its authority before the Articles of Confederacy from the Charter of the Crowns, which is New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. Of themselves, them colonies had their own constitution. The United States, the United groups are rebels, fleeing and dislike of fighting against the sovereign power, the king or the queen. Went to another sovereign power, which is France, which is also under the control of the British Crown. Signed a treaty with them. Now, we're not talking about no constitution. They don't have a constitution. They're only deriving delegation of authority based on sovereigns that's already here, well set up, countries, nations. Please, I hope the listeners are listening to me here. I don't care what anybody say. I'm talking about sound jurisprudence and principles of law. They went to the Lenape Moors and got a treaty. Let me go back. So I want you to understand. The states that you hear in New Jersey are nothing but Providence that was given to a grant to William Penn. William Penn went to the Lenape Moors, which was a queen and a king, and was given a grant, not even on paper. The city of Philadelphia and territory in Shaker, Mexico, are owned by the Moors. Now, we're coming up further now to the 1763, when they entered into a treaty together, and in the second article, German, Greece, Persia, all these nations that you think that United States is working for, all these European Roman states, because that's why at the end of these documents, the Roman Catholic Majesty, the government of the Roman Catholic Majesty is going through them. Now, United States could not use the charter of the colonies because they was in disobedience, civil disobedience, and they were considered as refugees and rebels. No disrespect. I'm not trying to hurt nobody's feelings, but what they teaching you in school and college is a lie, a hypothecated lie, because the books don't teach that. Then if that's true, why they signed a treaty with the sovereign power? Why is a group of rebels going on the land, getting amnesty asylum from Lenape, Delaware, Lenape, that's the Moors, and France? Now, then they turn around and create and join a confederacy and say the Articles of Confederacy where they operate as the United States, a symbol. That is a contract, the first existence of a symbol into an alliance, but bound to treaties, always was bound to treaties. Now they want to leave the boundary that's distributed to them by the French and the Lenape Moors. 1783, they go to the Great Britain, enter a treaty with Great Britain, England, and ask permission to use the colony names as a franchisee. Because the colony names are patent and the land. It was conveyed by the Moors to the crowns for admissible political jurisdiction for a zone to operate as if the crown was on his own damn territory, land. United States asked to form a corp. They asked to operate. Once they asked to use the colony names, they became a leasee from the leaser. The leaser is the crown. The leasee is the United States. That's a landlord and a tenant. The Moors ain't got S to do with that mess. Keep the Moors out of that, because they ain't getting no air. This they land. They agreed to let them operate here as a sovereign. Now, United States is a leasee now, operating as a de facto company. A de facto country. Because they can't be a country, because a country is a people that's a pedigree to a land that's inherited through their blood pedigree. So United States is a leasing territories in the Crown Dominion and Rim. 1856 treaty. The crown said any state or nation by conquest or treaty is to obey the treaty here, mean the council. Now, first Constitution the United States got their charter. After the 1783 treaty, they go to Philadelphia, Moorish territory, Sheikh Mexham, Delaware Village, Ninico, and form an allegiance, which is a second corporation. Hear me out. I'm going to teach you today, please. The only reason why they put Article 6 in there, because they acknowledge that the power, the only law that is the only law that reigns supreme on this continent is the Lost Treaty based on the crowns and the princes of Morocco, days and bays. It's only there to remind the state as a judgment and commandment that any treaties made and obligations, agreements made before we formed this Constitution and anything that we enter into now and in the future is the law of the land. That ain't got nothing to do with the goddamn Bill of Rights or nothing. The bills they write and all structure of government. It's just a reminder. It's a commandment, an order put in a clause, article. That's why it's called a supremacy clause. It's lay out that this got power over in this new corporation we forming. It's a clause. So you don't force the Constitution. You just go directly to the sovereign power of the country that formed the treaty. And that's the end of it. That is the Constitution formed between the two nations when they form a treaty. It's the charter because they regulate commerce between them. You cannot be no more go into a leasing, a corporation that your ancestors gave authority, amnesty, and asylum to operate, and that your allied partners, sovereign princes, kings and queens, allow them to lease the land, to run a corporation. You can't go to them for any remedies because you're not a part of that damn society.
Terrence?
You want to say?
Another question, and I'll search for this as well, because of course it's a lot of Shem said or Abdullah said. Of course, I mean, I know you point that out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any evidence, because I've looked, I've searched for it, is there any evidence of 35, 30, 10, or even one more that actually signed the Constitution, well, the United States Constitution? And if so, what capacity was that Moor in? Was he in this sovereign capacity, or somebody like a Jesse Jackson? Is there any evidence that show that Moors actually signed the United States Constitution?
Let me say something. Please hear me out good. And I want you to hear me. There have been letters written, the Catholic Majesty, between the Emperor of Morocco concerning the new corporation, the United States. As a matter of fact, when they formed the new Jubilee, the Jubilee means a new beginning, a new corporation. Washington wrote the sovereign power. Please hear me out. He wrote a letter. In that letter, I don't hear Washington say anything about, thank you for showing us how to write this Constitution. I would say this right here. Moors, they copy the Moors blueprint through Benjamin Franklin. Now, it was Benjamin Franklin. I'm good? Okay. It was Benjamin Franklin that was consulting the Moors, which is called the Ear Course. See, they want you to say Indian. No, they was Moors. The associated band was the Indians. They was consulting the Moors, because when you hear the word Choctaw, Moab, that's part of the ancient Washita Dudamanis. That's the empire of Moroccan Moorish Empire before the Sultans. Hear me out. Hear me. The Sultans did not establish the Moorish Empire. It already existed. So United States Constitution was not put together by days, by bays, by Moorish subjects, by nationals, nor of the prince's house, the branches, the government of the sultans. None of them have anything. All it was is writing letters of acknowledgement and asking for help and aid. However, the United States acknowledge, I want you to hear this, please, that they copied and our principle of constitution and intercourse influenced them. They never say anything about us being a signer. In their own damn Congress, they never say that. Why are you saying it? Stop playing games with people. I go get the resolution. I read it here. It says that they played an influence. Go ahead, Ms. Abdul. You want to add to that? You read the resolution.
Yeah,
Congress said, the Congress said they was responsible for drafting it.
No.
The Congress said he's responsible for coming here, delegating authority to us. Now, and Congress know better than anybody. Why they didn't say that when they write the law? They said they Purple Heart and Shield came from us, the Moors. Yep. So why is not Congress acknowledging that we wrote it? And first of all, listen, Moors, we don't have time to play no games building government. Go to the instrument and see the signature on it. You guys didn't say, Professor Abdul?
I mean, the point's clear. Now, I'm glad.
Here's a man who wrote a book off our history, off our intelligence. Do you see him saying it? Do you see him say anything about a constitution?
He's talking about, brother, I'm talking about Emir Devatal, The Laws of Nation.
There you go.
I've been posting this book for the past month on my Facebook page. I've been, there's been about over 30 Moors who have purchased this book over the past month, you know. So thank you, Tamara, for giving me my copy. All right. So I'm going to read some of this, but before I get into that, Shem, we want to make sure that we're crystal clear on this point. Now, we want to do is provide further clarity on the difference between invoke, and enforce. Let me say this. The citizens of Japan who are not elected officials do not have authority to enforce the Japanese Constitution.
That's right. I know you.
Only the elected officials
That's right.
have authority to enforce the Japanese Constitution. The citizens of Germany who are not elected officials do not have authority to enforce the German Constitution.
That's right.
Only elected officials who are delegated authority have the authority to enforce the German Constitution. So this individuals enforcing, can invoke, the German citizens can invoke the German Constitution, but they can't enforce if they're not elected. You have three branches of government in Germany. The executive branch, which is the enforcement or executing the laws. The lawmaking branch, which is the legislative or parliament in Germany. The judicial branch, the interpreting power of Germany. Now, the executive branch of Germany has been delegated authority to enforce the laws. You have the parliament or legislative body that's been vested by the people through that German Constitution to make the laws. You have the judicial, the judges have the vested authority to interpret the law. These principles, and in the Laws of Nations, Book 1, where Vattel talks about the principles of nations and constitutions. And let me read some of this. We must learn government. There's a weakness in this Moorish movement, and that is knowing the principles of government. We have a bunch of individual Moors with paperwork and cards, they call nationality cards, that are not band together into a government body. They're individual Moors all over the land, individual. That's not band together. We must recognize ourselves. Let me explain that. I'm going to go into this. I'm setting up to read some of these principles. Having piece of paper and nationality cards, and you also have these 60, 70 different nationality cards from these 60, 70 plus Moorish body politics that are not band together. So you have this individual, and this has been occurring and this is my observation and my involvement for over 27 years. Different body politics come and go, and different nationality cards. You have this one store at Philadelphia, printing place, where you can come off the street and look through a book. The owner of the copy center did not create the nationality card, Moorish nationality cards. Moors went in there and gave them the nationality card and told them as a template. So he has about a book of 50 different Moorish nationality cards that you come off the street and pick which one you want. That is not government. I got to break this down. I got to Shem. I got to expose this because I want us to form good government. I want protection for my daughter and your children. And I know that is not the way to get it done. We must participate in good government. We must come to acknowledge good government and hug and kiss her. We must kiss her and hug her. We have not been doing that. We have not recognized ourselves into a body of civics. We're individual body politics. We're individual Moors doing our own thing. We will emphasize this over 1,000 times. This will be our emphasis. This will be our creed. Our creed is good government. Good government, good government. We must kiss and hug her. All right? Kiss and hug her. All right. Yes, please.
Just wanted to read a comment that I think should be addressed and placed on the record, because when you see things like that, you can easily say, "Oh, this person is a troll" or whatever. But I'm not going to say that. I just think that we just need to address any and all things.
Right.
Absolutely.
So this comment states that Steve Coakley would call you a passive threat. Of all this teaching won't change anything. They don't recognize any of what you say outside the courtroom. You have a nationality, but no nation or army.
Okay,
Please, that's your thing.
I'm going to answer that.
Yes.
And
So,
to the brother, to show your comfort, that's in fairness, you're right. He's right.
Yeah.
Now,
that's what I'm saying.
you're right. You know this, Copeland. Now we're doing it. Be a part of the team now. That's what we're doing. We've been realizing this. That's why we're doing what we're doing.
That's
now.
I mean, that's
See,
fair.
he's right because
That's
see,
fair.
for almost a whole century, the Moorish Science Temple was set up by Noble Drew Ali, and he's right to feel that way because the Grand Sheikh was the only face statue standing before the rest of all the nations in all the government body that could have did diplomatic affairs and diplomacy with these foreign governments based on just our religious statutes. That's the law. That's our law, and that always been. They didn't know how to run civics. So they left us stripped of a structure. They left us stripped of a structure. They left us stripped of a structure. So by them not protecting our nationality and identity under a body civics, because that's all governments and nations are to protect it. I'm glad. I'm gonna, brother. That's why I'm glad you went. I'm gonna go
Thank
ahead
you
now.
for that.
Thank you for that question, brother. I'm gonna open this up today.
Good. I'm let because we're still on that question.
Well,
That's
well,
right.
that's why I feel like it should be addressed because
Absolutely.
these are
Absolutely.
sentiments that are out there,
Absolutely.
and these sentiments must be addressed in order for us to understand our strengths, our weakness,
Absolutely.
our opportunities, and our threat.
Absolutely.
And this is an opportunity for improvement to know that yes, we are a passive threat if we don't unite. So
That's right. Now I'm gonna break it down. He's right. See, in order to have a country, you got to have the people on the land. And once the people on the land claim that geographical territory and domicile latitude, longitude of the earth, then the people becomes the supreme power in that drawn out survey. That's a survey. I mean, that's their motherland. That's why I use the word motherland. They from that. They from the earth. The mother. They from their mother. Her body. She replica of the earth. They from her. The earth. That's still the earth. You come out the womb, you from the earth. No difference. They become the supreme power in that region. And that supreme power, you got what? The people come together. Now, the clans and tribes to regulate commerce among each other, to deal with disputes. So when they come together to deal with something like that, they have a seer, which we call the prophet or the apostle, the seer. The seer is the one that said, hey, listen, no man can go into another man's wife. No man can rob. This is an ancient principle was established in Phoenician and down in Egypt. You'll get put to death for this. Right there on the spot. You get caught. The witness, they ain't no going, no trial. The judge, come there. These magistrates and this power, the people, the supreme power. So they elect. Let me get it. I'm going to read it to you. Free societies in their own land coming together to form an alliance among themselves collectively with commandments, obligations, stipulations, judgments, and liabilities to limit the power of the citizens elected by the people of that society, community, or clan or tribe. Now, when they come together like that, they form what you call now a trust, a confident. That's what it means. They coming together as a confident form now. Now they're going to create, and there's going to be functions which come into the form of a charter or constitution or covenant. From there, when any time they decide to go over to a foreign country, outside their land, latitude, longitude, degrees, they delegate to a minister of foreign affairs, they double their cabinet, a house, a parliament, and they form a state delegated authority. And there's branches, organizations, corporations, departments, agencies, units, office, which is the administrative part of the sovereign people created through the social trust, which is the charter constitution. Now, I'm going to show you something. When the rebels, state groups decide to be states. Let me explain what I mean so you understand. Political organizations. They was political groups. They became political organizations because they had a treaty from the sovereign, Great Britain, letting that be Moors, and France. Please hear me out. They already had a constitution, the Articles of Confederacy. Now, the only thing, when they formed their alliance and a new contract, they had to put in, see, when a man creates a contract, a group of people, women, or whoever it may be, they have to put in that contract where it derive their authority from. I even get to it now. And you go back and say, the supremacy clause is an article, a judgment against the governments that came together and formed that alliance called Constitution. Is a judgment to remind them that if you go to the Article of Confederacy, I can prove it. I go right to it. The Article of Confederacy tell you, if you run into a prince, a national, you can't tax him. A treaty alliance, it's in the Articles of Confederacy, is letting you know that any of y'all under this alliance that run into a conflict, whether in your jurisdiction, wherever you at, that previously and now and in the future, anything we do with a foreign government is the law of the land, treaties, contracts. That's all they're doing. So when you got a problem as a national, and you say, wait a minute, you go, the council goes up, there's a treaty that self-executed, said council and a deputy, you got to have a deputy in the council. Now hear me out, I'm going to teach you today. If it's a treaty said deputy, then that means the brother said you don't have a government structure up, you can't run government. So you left out there in the cold. So you know what that means? You got to walk in as an individual. And you know what happened? You just waive that treaty, right? And allow the Supreme Court to give a de facto opinion, your rights away. When the treaty don't say that. Now let me explain what I mean. If it's a treaty entered into between the United States and a foreign, let's say Indian country, and somebody say, hey, I'm gonna go to the United States. Watch this, I want you to hear this. And I'm gonna say, hey, they violate the treaty. You ain't got no goddamn government. Why you got to go into the United States jurisdictional court and the damn treaty don't say that? But the Article 3 say any treaty entered into between the United States, that's their constitution. What did the treaty say? Did it say treaty of the law of the land? The hell you talking about Article 3 for? So I'm showing you what we've been doing for a long time is wrong. That's why the Indians and shit creep with these de facto opinions by the United States Supreme Court. They messed up. Now I'm gonna teach something that they wasn't teaching. Your ass is the brother right. You ain't got no government structure. If you had a government up and you got a treaty, the government goes through the treaty. And like Professor Abdul say, the executive branch of that damn government is supposed to force that treaty through diplomatic affairs. He don't go no damn courtroom. He walks in and says, oh, wait a minute. You said that the court, now what he does is he asks the court, say, I want to do a letter rogatory for judicial assistance based on this instrument right here, this agreement, this binding agreement. Open it up and then sit down and letter rogatory and say, what's the problem? Now, what happens? The head of that government and the head of that government will sit down and iron it out. Diplomatic affairs. That's the court. The executive could be a court too, a tribunal court. He can delegate in his branch ministers to handle that affair. Yes, he can.
Yes.
And the legislature can pass a bill to make sure that damn treaty obeyed. You ain't got to go in a courtroom. That's why the brother right. That's why your ass can sit a ward now. Because you ain't got no government body. Oh, man, I'm going to the United States court. Why? You ain't got no government. Brother right. You got to straighten this out. It's a problem now. Well, the J Treaty say, you know, with the United States and Great Britain. Okay, how are you a party to that treaty when the Crown say your damn rights is violated? Your person from your government was to go to the Council of the Crown is to go to that goddamn government and straighten them out on the treaty about our rights. I ain't got to go in your courtroom. Ain't nothing that damn treaty said I got to go there. I didn't give Great Britain the power to delegate my authority, so I got to go before a foreign tribunal to get my rights delegated to me or protect my rights. The brother right. That's why we ain't got no damn government. Need to get one. Thank you, brother. Straighten this out now.
Oh, I love this. Oh, man, this made my night.
Go ahead, sister.
I'm about to go on the floor.
But here's a claim. The only real government is USAR. They're getting it done.
let me say, no, once again, you know what he's saying? He's saying what he was saying a long time. That's all they see is their structure. And that's why he can make that statement. Thank you, brother. Nobody's being mad at you. Let me say something. Even though they there, that don't make it right. Brother, listen to me, because somebody's exercising usurping authority of a legitimate government that they don't have the authority, they de facto. See, what you're saying is that you're trying to say that them acting de facto.
No. That's not what he's saying. Let me clear up. That's not what he's saying. USAR is a Moorish, a nationalized, conscious Moorish body politic. So now you understand it?
So he's not talking about the United States.
No. They're using the same name. I knew who they. You spoke to one of the representatives, spoke to the president. You did.
We cleared it up already.
I know, but I'm saying you need to understand the question.
Right.
Listen to him. I'm saying
they're the only ones.
USAR. Let's read it again. USAR is a conscious Moorish body politic. Go ahead. Okay. Read it again.
The only real government is USAR. They are getting it done.
All right. Go ahead.
No, I don't agree with that. I'm not going to agree with that. I'm not going to agree with that. You know, for a man to make that statement, you need to tell that to somebody that watched that movie, Robbing Miss Daisy. What I mean is that to make a statement like that, you must be a cartoon character, and you must want to roll and Driving Miss Daisy make a statement like that.
All right. So why aren't they the only one?
You're making a statement like that, and you don't have a government because you don't have a military. You don't have a judicial body. You don't have a council. Nobody recognizes you in the international body. You can't show forth nothing that you did over the last 50, 30, 20, 10 years that got these people out of the de facto status. That's what I'm saying. Let me see what I mean. Neither one of y'all can even say y'all was in a courtroom battling felonies and got out of it based on jurisprudence.
All right. So they're further saying that they're the only one.
Brother.
All right. So keep in mind they're saying they're the only one. So you need to address the only real one.
Well, when you and somebody say that right there, I'm gonna tell you what that is. That's somebody.
So use principles to address it. Address it based on principles.
When you have, first of all, can't nobody even make that statement in the Empire of Morocco. That's number one. And number two, that's selfish because Noble Drew Ali never made that claim. And you're not no Noble Drew Ali. You don't even know how to deposit your instrument and where to go at to be recognized, number one. Number two, you don't know how to set up diplomatic channels or agencies where to go at. You don't have a routing financial central banking system. You don't have a military or police. Let me say this. To say the only real one, you know what that's like? When I hear a statement like that, that means somebody's throwing a tantrum. They see somebody's doing something and get ready to get the people in a position, they protect themselves. So they rather be what you call, you ever see somebody that want all the attention for themselves? Come to me, because that's a money gimmick. So you understand, more people they get, the more what? The more money. So some people are also on what you call a celebrity stunt mission. I want to be popular. I just want the people to be able to turn and have protection. Go somewhere to have a council represent them. Talk to these foreign governments and let them know that we are people, we are population, this is our land, we're going to stay here, we're not going to be moved by any means necessary. And how that come about? Coming together what we're doing right now, building structure. So when a brother make a statement like that, this is what you do. Get aboard with us. Let's come together and try the treaty. And it's help our people.
Let me address that in the terms and the principles of political legitimacy. I want to just look at principles. All right, I want to use principles to address that. The claim that they're the only one. The statement can only be true if the people, by the millions, deemed them to be that.
Self-determination.
Self-determination, where there is the free will of the people, deemed through election, through their free will, deemed USAR to be the only real one. But that would be by the millions.
That's right.
So if they can show us elections what's called a plebiscite. I want to teach people principles. We're going to learn government today. It's called a plebiscite. Pleb means people. P-L-E-B means people. Cite means vote. Through the free will of the people vote, which would be a principle of political legitimacy, by the millions, deemed you, that body politic, to be the only real one. We bow to that because that came about through political legitimacy. If they can't show through public elections, I don't want to hear no secrecy stuff. Once I ask them to show through public, I don't want to hear no, well, ain't no well, the secret. No. Public election. That means you have public election, and that by the millions, they voted, the people, nationalized and conscious Moors, voted that. Let's learn today political legitimacy. Free will of the people. Let's talk free will from a metaphysical perspective. The free will from a metaphysical perspective. The divine mind. The mind, the sunlight is a source of energy, stimulating the serotonin and melatonin in the brain. That is a divine act, activating the higher brain sense of the Christ or Christ. That is a divine act. So the free will of the people is very powerful. That is the collective consciousness. So the people voting through a plebiscite creates the collective consciousness. Very powerful. Show me the plebiscite. Show me the free, open public election, and I'll bow to you.
And that's what we
got to teach principles.
And that's what we're doing.
You got to teach principles.
We're bringing the people together, just like Professor Abdul say. We're bringing the people together from different provinces in the dominion and rim of Morocco. That means if you in Asia, we in Southwest Asia, or you in East Asia, North, Central, South, or you in America, we in Atlantis, Turtle Island. We don't care where you at, the British Rim, Empire Rim, the Catholic Magic Rim, you in the, whatever you at. Let's come together. Send your representatives to sign the treaty so we all can come together and create a central government to represent all of us internationally. And then among ourselves, we'll have what you call through the treaty will become our charter, how we regulate commerce among each other, be bound to each other to a treaty. We'll all have our own constitution, govern us in our own providence. See, the problem is government structure has come, and there's a way. We're not saying ourselves. We're not saying just the government we got. We're not saying, well, everybody got to come to our government. We all don't live in Atlantis, South Central or South Atlantis, Turtle Island, the same province. Some people live all the way on the other side of the world, all the way down the continent, all the way up here. What you gonna say? You gonna reach all the way outside? You got to do what I say. That's somebody with a premature, childish attitude. No, I'm gonna tell you what that is. Some of y'all got tantrums. I got real problems.
What's my book up, man? Where you phoning?
Some of y'all got real bad problems, tantrums. Let's just work together. See, then I told you, you heard me say this, Sister Tamara. The problem when we start getting close to doing what we're doing, and the brother acknowledge I'm doing a brother in the central bank, is the people, our own people. Let me say what I say. It's not the ones that's unconscious that just coming out, it's the ones that's conscious. Because even though they're conscious Moors, they haven't cleaned up the darkness in them, the wrong in them. See, the wrong got to be burned up, filtered up. It got to be cleansed. They got to be cleansed inside divinity. Their divinity got to be cleansed. They are not cleansed. So that's why they keep throwing off these different vibes and different negative energy. This would cause the war and the cosmos imbalance in the wound, the cosmic wound among the rims. What I mean?
That's part of it.
What I mean? Angelic beings living in that rim with the war, the rims, not taking orders. I ain't doing this. What happened? a war happened. Someone had to be vanished from the illuminated, all the wisdom and the light and all the glory of the cosmos into what you call black. That's why I agree with Minister Professor Abdul. Why would you want to be called black? You heal, you conceal. You dead to what? Illuminated, light, glory, power, wealth, prosperity. You won't get none of that. So let's stop talking about what we is. Let's say, hey, brother, I like what you're doing. We're doing something down here. How can we make it better? Why can't we just say that, do that? I told you once again, I always say,
I already know why.
These people got these pharaoh spirits, these pharaohs and these emperor spirits, and they don't want the people having elections because they want to be in there telling people what to do with that gangster attitude. If you don't do what I say, I'm gonna send the goons out to beat your ass or kill you. And they don't want the people regulating police and stuff because you can't get away with it. Being a pharaoh, you know what? The police gonna tell me put his foot in your mouth out your ass. But that means you're gonna get straightened out, dealt with. When you take advantage of these people, you're gonna get dealt with, whoever you think you is. Yeah, you're gonna be dealt with. We put this police together. We put this police force together, they're gonna protect the damn Moorish rights. And the first person to protect them from these goddamn con officers. Next.
I love this, brother.
I'm gonna leave any questions. I'm gonna ask some questions.
Let's ask some questions. Let's ask some questions. Bring some questions. Yeah. This is good.
Protect the children and women. You ain't gonna take advantage. No, you ain't.
Hey.
So enough playing around. A brother, right? We can't even go on our land and fish. Can't even clean our own water. Go out to the jungle. Go out our forests. You can't throw out water with our ships. You can't run our commerce, industrial. You can't have a damn weapon to defend your house. Let's the man tell you gotta have it. Well, you know, they violate my 4th or 5th Amendment right. You ain't got no damn 4th Amendment right. Now, if you claiming to have that, that means you saying you part of the Union Society. You just naturalize yourself from protection of Morocco and your country, therefore you're not protected by the treaties. That's why they putting your ass in jail. Go ahead, question. Y'all better hear me. The hell we saying up here. We ain't against the people. We for the people. We trying to help you out. Questions?
She look for questions.
Leave it open for questions. I'm not even gonna comment on that.
Yeah, don't comment on that.
We're not gonna comment on that. We're gonna keep it.
You're not on that. Not on that.
I have a question. Could you describe what will the operations of United Republica of Morocco look like on a day-to-day basis?
Well, it's like this. You have what you call the Moorish governments are sending forth their representatives to create. The first thing have to be created is the Imperial Parliament Council, because that's what's going to build the structure. The governments are building the structures, and the people that's of the government are the national people themselves, a blood pedigree. That's number one. They're not of a college. They're not of a private society. They're not with a degree trying to do it from a college and sent to do it. They're doing it from their own learning and handing down information that they learned to put together their own common claim. We claim their old wastelands and form a government. Now, the everyday functions is once the parliament is created, then all the provinces will have an election. Who's going to be the prime minister, the deputy prime minister? Now, once that happens, the deputy prime minister and the prime minister and the parliament house is going to do what you call ordain the ministry. That's the administrative branch. That's going to be the ministries. You know, the minister of finance, minister of foreign affairs, a consul general, grand sheik. The jurors consultant general will be elected by the people because he's a law enforcement branch and he can't be left to be appointed, because if he's appointed, then that means he can be controlled by the houses. But by being elected, he holds the same legislative power as the parliament and also the executive. You follow me? Now, our job is to make sure that internationally we regulate commerce internationally with the foreign nations and to benefit every sovereign that's a part of that treaty and that governing body, international body. That means we'll be having talks about sessions that will be viewed for the Moors. We'll have our Moroccan Post, our own news media. We have our reporters. We'll have everything that the regional government is supposed to have. We'll be talking about things that can affect the nation. We'll talk about each nation will be done in our domicile, providence. We'll be talking about that. and we will be, what you do, getting forth commerce to help nations, help our people get our industry and police themselves. Then when it become an international dispute, we will handle that with the other governments through the Council and Grand Sheikh. Now, if two Moorish governments have an argument with each other, they will come into the United Res Republic District Court or Circuit Court to settle that dispute among themselves. Why? Because the judges will be voted in by them, operating as what part of the administrative judiciary branch. So now when they come in there, they have a dispute. The disputes can be heard like it was in ancient time when we had judges hear disputes between the clans and the tribe. Same in Egypt. It had a people monarchy under Pharaoh that heard the people complaints, and when there was a problem with Pharaoh, they would have what you call their body government. Executive part would go there and sit down with Pharaoh and tell Pharaoh the grievance of the common people. See, that's real government. So that's what we're going to be doing.
Good question, Tamara.
Nobody would take anybody's land. A Moorish government have a problem with another Moorish government, will settle a problem. Now, let me say something. If you're part of a religious and monastery organization, a temple, and you're going by your Shia laws, we have a right not to infringe on that. That's an ancient principle. I wouldn't disturb that. However, I would say this. Based on ancient principles, spiritual and religious organizations don't go around oppressing the people, killing them, and taking their land. So if you think you're going to operate as a spiritual organization like that, we're going to come in and supersede, and then you be not that, based on well-established principle law. Because that's not what ancient seers and stuff did. They always were guided by the spirit of the cosmos, the ultimate, the supreme spirit. And what they would do, if it was be given to them that is a people living on the land that was polluting the land through an unclean ritual, ceremony, festivals, and customs that is making the people suffer, then you got a right to remove them out of place, relieve the people of that suffering they're going through. You understand what I'm saying? We don't talk about beating women up, ripping the babies out of them, making them have miscarriage, so you can have this many babies. You can't have this. That's not right. That's not right. Where this come from? This is the downfall of a lot of Moorish governments behind a woman and oppression of the house. When the emperor and the kings and the head of the clans start now regulating and taking away the control of the house from the woman and man. That's the downfall of what? Because that
Society
is given to the man and woman when they come together in ceremony and have children. And whenever they drop their children at their personal property, whether they survey their estate, then that state is theirs. That's how they're able to hand it down. The government don't own it. A political structure that came together to own it, it just put there to protect that right, the inherent right. Go ahead. Any questions?
Yes, there's a question. Malik Bey, let's clear something up really quick. I think sometimes when one may be typing, they may not be listening, but I think you eloquently explained the process of United Republic of Morocco and its functionality and its goal and mission and things of that nature. So I'm just going to reiterate this question by Malik Bey. He said he know the problem. Well, we all know there's a problem. We wouldn't be here. Okay. We Moors are broke. I mean, that's a mindset to me personally. Financially depleted, that's two different things. Being broke and financially depleted, that's two different things.
Yeah, that's true. If you want to break it down.
And the remedies is unity. Well, Shem just spoke of unity. He just spoke about uniting all the Moorish body politics together to form a treaty and an alliance so we can have the recognition of the through the nations. He just spoke of that. So I think, sometimes it's great to just listen. You're able to write down some talking. You're able to write down the points that are being delivered. Because he said, call the gatherings and then we show unity as civilized conscious Moors. Well, that's exactly what he was talking about.
Come together, sign a treaty.
Come together. It's not about taking your body politics away from you and your area of providence. It's about we all come together, we band together, just as the Haudenosaunee tribe. There was many nations, which is that was formed through the Haudenosaunee, aka Iroquois. There was many nations that came together. So it's not about taking away the Seneca Nation and their rituals, customs, festivals that occurred in the Seneca jurisdiction. It's not like taking away the Creek Constitution. It's not.
Right.
It's about banding together in unity, so we can be withstand this foreign oppression and break from it. So that's.
And you're right. Now, this is the problem is when you hear somebody say, "I'm a Moorish, I'm Moroccan," then you hear somebody say, "Well, I'm an Indian, I'm American Indian." Please hear me out. Now, in order to clear that up, because they are the same blood of people, only that one only exists on the other side of the world with his claim to land. You understand what I mean? When you read a treaty of 1836, now I'm talking about something that was here in 1836. You wasn't even born. None of us born yet. Now I'm quite sure when they went to Camp Home and made that treaty. Now I'm gonna let Professor Abdullah iterate after I say this. If I say Wichita, Cherokee, Choctaw, Comanche, once I name all them, and I put a comma and say, and the associated band of any, what I just did. I'm separating, you know, and these are not them, and they are not them.
There's a separation.
So what we have to understand is the answer to Brother Pollard. Yeah, brother, you're right. We don't have the finance right now to do what we want. That's why me and Professor Abdul doing these law courses in this university that me, Tamer, and Abdul, and also working with the caucus have put together so we can take the personal finance of our sweat and honors, and we're going to put it into helping the Moorish nation building certain things. Now, show me one person that came up and took raised the money and put into a Moorish embassy who can write themselves in a proper country the right way. Now, watch this. I say this, I've been saying this for the last 7 or 8 months, even at the Dunkin' Donuts. That the brother, you made a good statement. Now, I know what you need to do. Go out there and tell all these Moors, get about $1 million of them, tell them to spend $300 and we have about $2 billion to help ourselves. That's how you do it. You know why it's not going to be done that way? Because the Moors are not broke financially. They're broke and they damn thinking. They broke.
Oh, of course.
And they thinking that if they give that, and they give that to buy groceries every week and pay their damn insurance and get their damn car fixed. Or your axle's broke. I'm going to the bank. How much? $450? God damn, you can't get that to help your government. Think about it, man. The psychological thing with these people, man. It's not a party to woke Moors and people conscious and people coming out unconscious. The conscious ones, the semi-conscious ones, and the conscious one don't give a shit by giving their money to help their people. That's a mind problem. We need to come out of that. We can get out of this hole. Next question.
I gotta agree with him.
Next question.
Observation. So I gotta agree with
See
him.
it every day. Then I got my car fixed for how much? But guess what I did? When me, you, and Tamara put this together, that was our money. We wasn't so. We got this embassy done. That's the sacrifice. That was about 37,000. The hell? Come on now. You get your car fixed, pay a cell phone bill. You can't do this to help your people out. We can get out of this shit in 1 week. With this say 2 billion people come together. Here you go, ain't nothing to us. Guess what we got? $6 billion in the account. Now we can get moving now. That's the fun. Get structure going. Now that's the answer to your question. Tell your people to come out their pocket, stop being selfish. They thinking wrong. Next question.
I ain't got nothing to add to that.
I just saw one. How long before we have this national constitution ready to sign?
No, we got a treaty we got to sign first.
But
see, the reason why I say that.
Let's slow down the steps.
Go ahead.
And make sure that it's understood, because
right.
I don't know what they mean by you're unorthodox. I think you're.
I am.
And you know what? Sometimes that's required.
That's right.
we'll apologize later once we unite.
That's
But if
right.
it takes for it to have an unorthodox method to scream, that's why they call you thundercloud.
Yep.
Sometimes I be wanting to choke you, but then I want to hug you at the same time because I know your passion and your heart is for the liberation
Absolutely.
of your people. And you're right. I'm not sure if people can hear all the construction and banging that's going on underneath us, but you have Brother Terrence still working tireless and effortless.
Damn right.
So what's being done is not being done for Abdullah, for Shem, for myself, for Terrence. This being done for all the million or more who want a location to be able to mail to, drive into, speak to someone about. They don't want to have to ride up to somebody's house and the door been kicked in and boarded up. They want a facility that they can be able to stand on and be able to operate in a national principle.
Transfer all their energy to that facility.
And that doesn't happen with 3 or 4 people getting it done. There's a body politics that's already informing, and we're saying the door is open. Come on in. Come on in.
Sure.
I'm glad you said what you just say. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm glad you said.
We need more Moors to come on in.
I'm glad you said you just said.
As much as we need anything else. And you're right. We could have taken the financing that was accumulated from the schools that we started and went and did whatever with, but we didn't. We
sacrificed.
You know what?
For the people.
Exactly. And we're going to continue sacrificing because guess what? There's more work still to be done. There's more work still to be done. And guess what? Much is given, much is required. So I look at that, there's a lot that's been given from the both of you gentlemen, myself and others that are in Kuwait.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yes, in Kuwait. And the brother is all the way in another realm, but we want to make sure that this Moorish headquarters is resurrected. There's Moors in Khalifa territory, and oh my God, it's all over the place.
Okay.
In South of Mexico, they are ready for this to take place. But when you have the energy of those who just want to stay, you want to say you're more, but then you want to stay freaking divided. Like, come on, you want to stay divided with little tic-tac words, little playing with this and playing with that. We have no time for that. It's game over for that. And sometimes if we have to move some of those ones that want to keep playing out the way, we're going to have to respectfully move them out the way because the march is on. The march is on because I can't see my young ones, my niece and nephews have to endure any more of this crap that we're under. Because once you see it, you can't keep looking at it. It's too painful to keep looking at. So we got to stop playing with one another. We know what black mean. We know what civil death means. So we don't have to play these wordsmith games with one another. How about we do that with our oppressor, and so we can rise up?
Now, I love that. Now that is on to the point, and what you're saying is right. I'm gonna point out some scenarios what Tamara was talking about. Puerto Rico had a national disaster. They raised billions of dollars within what months? Haiti had a disaster. People went in their pocket, even more is here.
That's true.
Gave to a land they don't live at. All of these nations, these people are participating and paying taxes every year, paying these, and this money going to these international funds, to United States and to the international monetary funds. And they doing what they're doing is they're building corporate structure in the other parts of the world to use them to hold you down. Now, we have a crisis. The disaster that we got is apartheid, genocide, manifested violent acts against our people for the last 200-something years. Let me say something. And you mean to tell me that we got a disaster where we're being killed in the street, lied to in the schools, indoctrinated, poisoned in the germ war for poison food drinking, a legislative states of origin are passing bills sanctioned to kill our people legally through food, soft drinks, and water. Now, that don't have to, nobody got to run down a gun and gun you down.
True.
That is done to call a secret war. After y'all Moors know this. You get a more when somebody get up there dangling fancy. Yes! And you go ahead and go running down $1 million or $2 million a yard. Ain't got nothing. Somebody come around and talk flamboyant and all that stuff. Oh, you love him. When somebody say, hey, I got a remedy, you hear it. You got a mental problem. That's why they say you just like people like you is unplaceable anyway. You mental retarded. You're not worth nothing anyway. That's why they do this. Because they say, damn, look at the Koreans, Cambodians. They come over here to set up a monetary fund and put in that fund. They got billions of dollars there. Here go Moors. There's not a problem. Say, damn, you know what? These brothers teaching the truth. They gotta set up and they put the money back to the government now.
Hold on. I'm gonna stop you right there because we got some little craziness going on with the airways about the money. Let's keep it. I'm gonna keep it funky.
Yeah. Okay.
You know me. I don't really go too raw on public.
Right.
But I'm gonna go ahead and go there. I'm gonna get undignified real quick. Let me tell y'all Morris one thing. We don't control the damn money supply system. That's number one.
That's right.
We have zero control of it. And I know you have Moors out here printing their little coins, don't know what it's made of. They buying silver and things of that nature, don't know where it's being minted, don't know what ground is going out. You could be buying wooden nickels for all you know. But let's be real. Your ass can't go to nowhere on this land and think you're going to get something to eat without spending that Federal Reserve note, okay?
Yep.
You're not going to go and travel, try put some gas in your car and don't think you're going to have to exchange that medium of Federal Reserve note. We're not saying it's the respect of it. We know how we have to operate and navigate to get where we need to go and do what we need to do. So let's stop playing games about, somebody respecting the money. If you don't have it, just say, I don't have it. We understand that. We have Moors that gave that, you know what? I had Cash App and this guy sent three notes. And he said, this is all I have. And I said, that was like receiving $1 million because he sent what he had.
Exactly.
But it's not about somebody needing your notes to get, it's going to get done with or without, because that's the energy that being placed on this. We haven't walked in Home Depot one time and been able to grab 2x4s, nails, this, that off the shelf and just walk out the damn door because ain't none of us sitting in these county jails around here. You know what I'm saying? So which means that we had to exchange the Federal Reserve note to get what we needed. If we need paper and ink, we can't walk in not one Staples and go in there and say, I'm a Moor, and go grabbing shit off their shelf without thinking we're going to be sending somebody to jail before we get to the car. That's not going to happen. So stop playing this damn game like we don't have to continue to use this exchange until we get up off and up under this liberation. I done said enough of that. I'm just sick. So nobody is saying that we respect the funky Federal Reserve note, that we know what it is. We know the basis, the backline, and the history of it. We understand that, but we understand that we have to play this game to get to the liberation of what we need to be, and that's being able to be in control of whatever the currency system will be. We ain't there yet.
And to tap it on, the reason why when we use the promissory note and we're paying taxes on it, because you're not in your proper status and you don't have a damn structure. Because if you in your proper status and you got a structure, they will see your identity card. And when you hand the note, you still will have the exemption as an alien dealing with a commercial paper. Read the Treaty of 1856. Read the Commerce Treaty. That's what it's about, doing commerce. If I grab something of your instrument, in your jurisdiction, I'm exchanging. You can't tax me because I'm on my land. You're a corporation governed, operating on my land as a licensed corporation. So if I use anything commercial dealing with you, I have the exemption not to be taxed for using it. So it's about structure and status. All comes down to. And about the notes. Tamara, right, until we get a structure up and playing, we can use the same currency money that's established all throughout Europe and Morocco here and the Feds. which is the same money, the Mexican peso, which is talked about in the treaty, which is the Moorish money. That's why I said Mexican peso. Mexicans are Moors. The Spaniel coin, they not just made up. They are ancient currency systems that was created by us. So we can, when we go over England and spend the pound, by being a Moor, you have a different status when you're spending that pound, how you use it. Your status is everything in law and commerce. That's all it comes. And it come back down to this right here. Don't get angry because we are people that do not support each other with our finance. I said it again. You can get a calculator and say, I'm gonna see something. We're gonna do a drive and see can we get 1 million more to give just $100. They sit there like this. You know what they do? They go out there and say, hey, let me get 35 script, 36 script.
Well, let's say 1,000 more.
Let's say 1,000. I'm speaking. I'm just showing you they rather go out here and buy $100 out of seafood store. They're giving them funky food. They better go into the market. They better go and buy brand new sneakers. They better go ahead and buy this new system, new TV that costs a sell for $100, and they won't even sacrifice. And we are the reasons why we like this. Everybody else look and say, damn, they still stupid, dumb. They didn't catch it. They're still buying. They can get out of this. Damn. All they got to do come together like $1 million. I'm just give $100. They're out of it. Is their way out of it as a platform. They can create a platform. The reason why we are so insecure of each other. But here's the thing about it.
Apartheid.
Even though a person got a structure, even though a person got discipline, when you say, wait a minute, that is not benefiting us. But the moment you talk like that, and they say, we got something for you, we can give you a gift. Start getting these Negroes jobs, city jobs. Let them argue and out there working and taking away their own water rights. Let them work the gas company. Let them work the electric company. Now all the wrongdoing is them on them. And they sit back and manage it and make their money off your resources. You turn around and say, damn, I'm doing good. You feel good. You got your brand new car, bought your $5,000 house. Now how about helping your Moors? Now, anytime you got a problem, you got to go back to them. You ain't nothing but a black Negro color. You're nobody. You just like me going to the toilet, flushing my defecate to them, just like you like this, like defecate flushing the toilet. That's all you just like.
You're using us, man.
That's it.
Face it.
You go to hospital, they give you medication and
us.
stuff that cause damage your organs, and they tell you they're helping you. Now, let me explain something to you. If that's what you want to do, if you don't want to see you, Mr. Magoo, close your eyes and you can see you want to drive ahead every day, walking every day, go ahead. But I just broke it down. Now, Moors, prove me wrong. Invest in yourself. Stop giving your money to everybody. Invest in yourself. Oh, man, they were trying to get rich overnight. See the mind, your mind. See your mind. That's why we get these negative comments when truth come out. See, Phil Valentine, right? They put truth and falsehood together. And now you people love the damn falsehood because they become paid flunkies. I know you got to survive, but we can change this around if you invest in yourself and your people. That's what it comes down to.
Well, we've done over 30 Facebook Lives over the past 5 months on the progress. I've posted over 500 photos, all right, on the work over the past 5 months. So people see. We did that so people can see what we're doing. See what we're doing. The finance, all that, the reports will be on the Facebook website. People can see what we're doing. So we're trying to get rich overnight. They have no basis to say that. I'm saying there's no basis to say that. That's what I'm saying. There's no basis. I'm just out there with logic.
I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and you're gonna look up, and you're gonna see police out here with flags. You're gonna see people standing up there talking to these people that's prime ministers, and a lot of y'all that's playing around here gonna have to come to the United Res Republic to even teach. Even open your mouth and say something, because the moment you do it, they're going to relocate yourself and they're going to turn around, pitch your ass out of their political organization and their states, and what that's going to be to them outside the continent. They don't want you in the continent. Come on, we got to help. We'll be here for you. We'll be here. If you fall down, we'll be here and pick you up, help you get up.
Other questions? This is good because it's opportunity for
Can you address
clarifications.
Can you address UNDRIP? I guess United signed by Obama a few years ago. Can you address that?
Address what?
UNDRIP.
That's the Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People.
Yes.
Okay. Let me explain something to you. See, the President of the United States endorsed that on behalf of the United States, meaning that when the United States signed it, they agreed that they will work with the government, indigenous government. Here's the thing about it: who's the indigenous governments? Now they endorse it. What we have to do as under the Res Republic of Morocco, we have to we'll deposit our instrument, get with the embassies, and what we'll do is we'll go to the body and we'll ratify that instrument through our parliament. You follow me? Once we ratify that through the parliament, notify the governments, the governments that's already that acknowledge themselves and together collectively, we'll ratify that, and that way it will operate as law for us. We can't ask a foreign government to ratify something and enforce it on our behalf, and he's not a part of the Moorish government. It doesn't work that way. Abdul broke it down. Ain't nobody in Germany going to enforce this stuff for Japan. We have to come up and ratify, which we're going to do. We're going to ratify a lot of things, instruments, and acts. We don't have to ratify the act of Algiers. That's already signed by the Moroccan government. All we got to do is operate it and ratify it based on a province in the Moroccan Empire. Now, whatever in that act that we feel as though might try to undermine our rights, we'll say our rights are reserved pursuant to our what? Spiritual piety and deity. That's a special reservation you put in to make sure that you can't come this far. We stand on this. This is the main thing. So you put a reservation of rights in that you stand on this. Anything conflict come, you go back to this.
Go back to that. Yes.
So we ratify myself.
Someone proposed a question regarding the vaccine. Where do you stand regarding the vaccine? I would like to read this because I spoke with our noble Truth Ali today, and I told him that I would definitely love to give some information that he provided. So if anyone is about to enlist their children back into school, in November or right now, it's going on right now, starting now.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the South. They're already starting in the South. They're about to start in the North as well. He have a anti-vaccine immunity decree book online, which includes international laws, policies to protect those rights, with over 25 medical references, including CDC and World Health Organization, as to why we should not be vaccinating our children and people. People can order it online. It is a custom design, which is authenticated by us, and we also provide step-by-step to have it recorded on the so-called state records. The cost of this book is 45 notes online, and you can go online and get this at www.wearenotblack.org. And he also have another book that's coming out soon for pre-orders. Just wanted to give you that information. So for the questions regarding vaccination, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, the corporate structure based on the people that's a member of the United States and the states, de facto or de jure, only can legislate only by what somebody is a member of that society. Now, we supposed to have our government up. When it comes down to vaccines by a foreign corporation or private corporation, they have to go to government structure of that government. The only thing is a threat not having a government structure, because you don't have nothing to stand on. You have a police, you have a military, you have an industry. They don't have nobody to go to talk to. That's what Barack Obama was trying to say. Nobody catch it. He was talking about meeting with the people. He said a lot of this stuff for him. But you talk about Hillary Clinton all you want. But one thing they were trying to do to get with the indigenous people to wake up, because that gave them more latitude. But the people, so you're sleeping and your enemy is breaking in your damn door with a crowbar, and you like this, TV set playing. And you sleep. He done broke the damn door, and now what you gonna do now? He in your house. Got your wife by the head, got your kids traumatized, and he's slapping you, kicking you on your ass and everything. You can't do nothing. You can't get to your gun. Protect yourself.
You're good.
So what I'm saying, that whatever happened to vaccines, they go to government structure bodies to get them to pass legislation so they can have the dominion over the subjects of that government. So that's why they come to you. No, we don't do that. We have our own structure dealing with that. Then they can't invade you because they can get locked up. You can arrest them. That's the police power. That's real government structure. Now you see, I'm glad now you see why you always hear me say, get off your ass, 100,000, 200,000, and you better put that money up because they're moving fast. And they don't need crying when you say, listen, do you know what he said when they say, well, how much money do y'all need to run your government? We got all these Moors over here from Mexico all the way up to Canada. Canada already got more respect for Aboriginal rights than here because they're more woke in Canada. Now here, what you gonna do? We need structure. I'm gonna tell you what they're gonna do. They're gonna take their damn and still go to McDonald's, still jump in these Uber cars, still go to a lot while things are hard and try to buy a damn car and you broke. And the country's and then you're gonna turn right around and try to spend your money with an attorney and try to get out of it. But you won't spend to lift your government up to get. I'll just show you. It's the thinking. Please, y'all listen to me. Your thinking is wrong. Get your damn house together, your body, your divinity. When you living in your body, get that together. Because they're coming for that.
Oh, I've been saying they ain't playing.
Next question.
All right. What we gonna do?
Yep.
No more questions. Oh,
Okay. Well, this is the time,
good.
right? What time we was it?
1 more hour? Oh, we got 1 more hour. All right.
Okay. Well, Professor Abdul, you can go into the. Let me say something before you go into the book. The contract course that's going to be when you hear what y'all hear me talking about now is dealing with. I'm trying to reach y'all to an applied contract. I'm trying to get y'all to enter into applied contract with the people here. The caucus, the people, everybody is sacrificing, showing forth that we are doing something, not with some grant money, not with some borrowed money, with our own personal finance.
True.
Now, we're doing a contract law course. So what I'm doing now is called applied contract. You know what I'm doing? I'm trying to get you to agree that you don't have no structure right now. You're going into their courtrooms, not protected by a country, but actually protected by them. You're drinking their water in the market. You're buying their foods for their farms. They're growing your food. You're not fishing. You're not hunting. You need license to do that. You need a license to get your boat. You got to using their fiat money. You're doing everything as if a ward or a refugee would do in the land. And ask me, Thundercloud, what can we do? We got a law course. Something, not something for nothing, something to help you out. Why can't 100 or 100, 500, 1,000, 15, or 5,000 more sign for this course and help their people out and learn at the same time? When you are getting loans and grants to go to these schools and you ain't got shit when you come out begging for a job. Why you won't do that? And here go the icing on the cake. I don't even talk about the finance because I got to be careful. We online. I would do that in secret among my people. If I tell you what we can do with the finance, let me tell you something.
Oh, man.
I don't even want to talk about that. Because, see, the country is broke. Look. The people corporation is broke. Even a de facto municipalities and townships are abandoned all. Everything. It's back up the creator, the cosmos, put it right back there for us to grab. You know the problem is? I'm gonna pay $500,000. I like that house, and you can pay $500,000 to buy a damn township. They got them in Georgia, like 6 of them. You know the problem is? You think wrong, more. Spend that money so we can buy that township and get out of here and do our thing. You don't want to do that. All right, them niggas, they trying to get good. Stay that way. Stay that way when they kick your door and take your ass and your kids and separate y'all. Stay that way. But I already know, it's been assured to me. It's been assured to me Just like it was prophesied running to this man, we gonna make history. What we gonna do? I'm not relying on man to help me. I'm trying to help man and woman, my people. Let's do this thing.
Well, let's talk about that. The 19 kinfolks. I'm not gonna say families. The 19 kinfolks that purchased the, what was it, 90 acres, 97 acres,
something like that. And
in Georgia.
Yeah, your area.
Okay, now that's a strength. 19 people came to get. Now I'm a project manager, so I have to look at it from that. So people like, okay, what Tamara's talking about? Well, I'm a project manager, so I have to look at it this way. Okay, that's a strength. You had 19, the Alpha and Omega. Hello, that's what that means. 19 only kinfolks came together, purchased 97 acres.
Yep.
I got to go back and read the article. Okay, so let's look at that. That was a wonderful strength of them. What is the weakness?
No government structure.
No government structure. The weakness is they purchased the land that is currently being occupied by the colonial oppressors, which means that the land is still under the jurisdiction of
the state of Georgia.
The state of Georgia, the political zone of Georgia. That's a weakness. What it could be the opportunity. Those 19 people could learn about their nationality, how to now change that land over to deed by treaty, and how they could build their own government structure around those 19, the homes they're building. That's the opportunity. What is the threat?
The threat is them not knowing, right?
That's the
that
threat.
They can build their own community, have their own elections of self-determination, and then when they build it, they can bring 250,000 people there and train them in military style, get the cars. Build the other 250,000 people come there, there's going to be an income. So once them people give weekly, always going to stay in that budget, $50-60 million, let's say a month. I guarantee you that in that budget, which will probably give them close to $1 billion every year to create a cannabis industry, a car industry, their own banks, their own stores, and more people will pile up there and will build up. So now when you come in, they got drones. They got connections overseas because they got ships out there for export, import. That's the signs of knowing what you're doing.
Now, okay, looky.
And got government relationship.
Now, looky. Didn't the Albanyans do the same thing?
The United States, that's what they did, absolutely. Come on. She's right.
So, did they not come in and do that?
They went there and borrowed from the crown, French, Spain, and the little nappies.
Right.
They was given food and exercise karma, and they regulated and made money off it to pay their debts, to run their corporation. Then they say more people, in order for this to grow, they allow all these immigrants to come from the ship because when they came there to do what? Work, and they came there also to steal and plunder. But they came here to bring all their assets together, work among themselves in unity. That's how they became a great corporation like that. Telling you, they follow our example. We the only ones that still
not following our example. We're not following our
Here's
example.
a man that got something called Black Lives.
We're not here to steal, kill, and destroy. We're not here to do for that part. But as far as building a nation, they look at all the blueprints of what was before them and they modeled it.
How do investors get rich? Off a patent. He put it on the market. Openly, private, futures trade. People buy it because it's an attraction to either excite them or help them physically, or it can help them get further in prosperity in life. Now watch this. Why do people go to college? To attain a certain degree of knowledge, a certain level of knowledge to do mechanic, electrician work, or they go to come back to their land to learn agriculture, do commerce and investment and business. Now,
our people don't go.
Our people don't do that.
Our people don't go to college.
I know. Watch this.
Yeah, they sure don't.
Now we got a university.
They sure don't.
And we're giving out science that university is not even giving. And why can't the people do what they do with these other colleges? They make billions and billions and trillions of dollars off of their tuition. And here's somebody charging you $300. and you tell me you can't even get these 10,000 y'all to come together to get this knowledge. You know what that means? You saying with your mouth one thing, but with your heart, your divinity, you mean different.
Absolutely.
So it's like this: sacrifice and obedience. The people want to be obedient too far, but they don't want to sacrifice to break free. You got these shackles. Well, how am I gonna get them off? How am I gonna get out of this? I gotta find my latitude. I gotta find my direction and get back home. That's why Lighthouse put out the water to guide the ships back to their land. That's why a man, a leader of a government, put with wisdom, illuminated, to keep his people right, to hand down knowledge and wisdom to their descendants. The kinsmanship. Watch this. And here we are, still trying to find a damn country with all this illuminated light, knowledge.
Let me say this, Tamara, about 5 weeks ago, I think 5-6 weeks ago, she asked me, Abdullah, what do you think is the biggest obstacle in this Moorish, what we're trying to do? We think would be a big obstacle. I said, just clarify what this Moorish movement is about. And I think we have the avenue in which to do that. This Moorish movement over the years has not truly been clarified. There's been misrepresentation. We had to address one tonight. The reason why we even had the title for this show. When Terrence came up,
That's the question.
right there.
Ah, man, I tell you.
I'm not saying this. That is huge, bro.
Yes, absolutely. It had to be dealt with.
That was huge. So that had been taught for years and years and years and years. That is huge. I mean, so we can deal with that hurdle, but that is huge. I mean, huge. So, we have the venues to clarify. We have a venue to deal with that hurdle.
Yes.
Any other questions? Let me read this. Let me read this here. Drew Ali.
Go ahead, no.
All right.
Let's go 7.
This is the divine warning. This is Moorish literature. I'm going to read the divine warning. I'm going to read an excerpt. All right. And this has been taught over the years. All right. Here we go. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and of the earth, and it comes only through the connection of the Moorish divine national movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the earth. But that's not the case. Here's the kicker. And through it, they and their children can receive their divine rights unmolested by other citizens, that they can cast a free national ballot at the polls under the free national constitution of the state's government, and not under a granted privilege as has been the existing condition for many generations. All right. So, nationalizing conscious Moors. What's the difference, Shem, between a nationalized and conscious Moor voting in this year's United States presidential election as Bayaniels, and unconscious Moors voting in this United States presidential election as Smith Jones Johnson? What is the difference, Shem? Please explain. What is the difference?
There's no difference. There's no difference. Both of them are disnationalized, disenfranchised, and they're not part of Morocco. Because the Days and Bays did not vote for any government of Morocco. They had nothing to do with it, not assign it to it. As a matter of fact,
For the United States, mean?
United States. Matter of fact, that's a political office that they hold too, by the way. The Days is considered as
No, stop there for a minute, because I don't want you to lose the point, because you're going somewhere else. Please don't. Please
Okay.
don't. Shem, I understand Bay Dale offices. Let's not go there right now. I'm gonna ask again because I know where you're going, but don't go there right now. I'm gonna ask again. What is the difference? Just talk about the act. The act. Focus on the act of nationalized and conscious Moors. Nationalized and conscious Moors use the titles Bay and Ill. Bay and Ill. A lot of them use Bay and Ill, right? And you have conscious Moors, Smith, Jones, Johnson. The act of voting in the United States presidential election. What is the difference? To stay on the act. Conscious Moors and nationalized and unconscious Moors voting.
Well, there's not a difference. The only thing is that you have conscious Moors that know that is wrong to do it and going to do it despite anyway. They're going to do it anyway. And that therefore show a maturity in them as being Moors in civics law. That's number one. See, when a person does that, you can draw a line of their maturity in being a Moor and being maturity in understanding Moorish history. When an unconscious person does that, they have no knowledge. So now the ones that's unconscious that's doing it is going to keep on doing it because they look at the ones that's conscious, so-called say they conscious, and have a balanced, mature level. They're going to look at them and say, they doing it, so I can do it. Now, here's the thing about it. These Moors that's doing this, please listen to me.
Explain the law, though. Explain, all right.
The law is just right here.
Explain what it means in international law. All right, let me be clear.
You disenfranchise. You just nationalize yourself.
So, all right. A
You have no
conscious
protection.
Moor who votes in this United States presidential election, an unconscious Moor who votes in this year's United States, displaying the law. All right. I'm going to ask you this: are they both acts of denationalization?
Absolutely.
Let me just do that then. Let me just go there then,
Yes.
because I don't want you. Are they all right?
Yes.
Are they both acts of denationalization?
That's right.
They're both. So
That's right.
So there is no difference regarding there being both acts of denationalization.
Yes, that's right.
All right. Conscious Moors think that denationalization is Smith, Jones, and Johnson only. So what I'm getting at is that we must be clear on what denationalization is. Let's open this up. When a conscious Moor votes in the elections of a foreign power, whether it's de facto or de jure,
That's right.
whether it's de facto or de jure, what does that mean in international law?
Now I'm gonna explain what it means in international law. In international law, when that comes before a court, and the other opposing party say, well, it's voluntary, and they would say, why? They would go to the etymology, use the word registration. The registration means to take and bear. Once you sign a registration form, the state takes up and bear your rights. Mean you protected now. You're asking for benefits and protection. So that's a form of denationalization. To as registration mean it is also a codified way of being, is call yourself now being to a form of what? Naturalization. Because people somebody come from Japan in order to vote, they have to be naturalized by the government of the United States. And they get naturalized to what? A form of registration form. Right or wrong? And a ceremony.
Yeah.
Now, let's stick with the word registration. Application, registration, and form, they're all the same circle. Bear, take and bear. Do a ceremony. Now, you're coming from Morocco, your land. You're crossing a political jurisdiction mentally. Going into a jurisdictional people and signing a form.
That's also politically, not just mentally.
That's right. It's politically. But what you're doing
mentally, it's also political because
right.
once they sign that's a political act now.
So the form is considered a domestic nationalization document. Does not that now you're naturalized as a resident of that government, and now you're residing there without a country. 59th Congress made it clear. The Refugee Act makes it clear.
Can you, because I just remember, can we address, we have time, please. I'm going to put the points of analysis on the board. Sundry Free Moors. All right, let's go.
Yes.
I'm going to erase this, Sundry Free
Yeah, you
Moors.
erase that,
I'm
Sundry
not,
Free
because I
Moors.
just,
Right.
because that was going to go there, but we had these wonderful questions.
Yes.
Wonderful
absolutely.
questions. I want you to address, so once again, clarifying misconceptions about Moorish treaties and United States Constitution. We're going to right now use the Sundry Free Moors case. All right, here we go.
Yep.
Shem did a wonderful job
Let me get that up
and
right
giving
now.
points, extensive points of
Let me get that
analysis.
up right now.
All right,
Moors.
get it up there. I'm going to write these extensive points of analysis. All right, on a special session of the South Carolina House of Representatives. South Carolina House of Representatives, 1790. There was a special session. The legislative body of the South Carolina body politic organized a special legislative session to hear the case of 4 Moors who had purchased their freedom, and a petition. All right, so we're going to pay these points of analysis.
Let me erase this for you.
Yes, please. All right, here we go. Let me have an eraser. Let me get there's one over there, right?
No,
I can do faster.
Yeah.
Do that side here. Do that side over there.
I don't have one over
Here we
there.
go over there. Here we go. So I can get this on the board. All right. All right. So I wish you had told me that when I wrote the letter P.
There's no light. They go down about right
No,
here.
I know. I'm saying.
Right here.
I'm good.
That's where the light is
All right,
at.
here we
Go
go.
a little lower. Go a little lower.
Yeah,
Right.
just letter P. Thank you. Points of analysis. The sundry. Yeah, I want to take the time. This is very important. All right, points of analysis. All right. All right. What petition? Judiciary. All right, so I'm just gonna hear Captain Clerk, Captain Clark, African King, Emperor of Morocco, promise made between African king and Captain Clark, Moorish nationality. I think I'm not doing any particular. I'm just gonna have it here, and I'm gonna so we can get Moorish nationality. Moorish Treaty. Extraterritoriality jurisdiction. Extraterritoriality jurisdiction. Extra, all right. Alienation. You can get started. Captivity. Get started, Shem. Get started.
Let me get started with the bullet points you got up here now. I'm
All
waiting
right.
for that.
What you read?
Okay.
Read.
All right. What we have here is dealing with status of Moors. These are official Moors, beys that was at war. The Moors at war with the kings of Africa, meaning countries, the nations of Africa. And being at war with the nations of Africa, the sultans was having conflict in that region, holding empire together. So the Moors was there fighting the kings of Africa, who soon wanted their own sovereignty, keep the sovereignty, independent power. I tell you, the Moors always fought against each other. The beys, the officers and the subjects of Morocco that was captured by the kings, I'm going to read him as narrating, I'm going to read it, was took it in, but with promise by the African kings, made a promise to Captain Clark that if they go on a vessel, when they return, they could be ransomed by the Emperor of Morocco, who's in a treaty with the United States. However, when they got them to England, England was the colonies, they took and sold them in servitude. And these men was gifted in commerce and understand the industry. They was able to work and read and navigate their way out of it and pay for not only themselves, but their wife. They also was able to keep their stuff from being sold. So they still bear, even when they was sold into servitude, they still bear the weight of being free Moors because they made a claim, proclamation. I mean, they invoked. So I'm going to read. A petition was presented to the House from sun-dry free Moors, subjects of the Emperor of Morocco. Now you notice that it says sun-dry free Moors. When something is introduced in a petition, you got to be your proper person. They introduced this petition to the legislative branch because they know they was able to pass a law that put the state back in alliance with the treaty. Not the Constitution, the treaty. So notice the status and the petition. They made a claim to be what? Sun-dry free Moors. They didn't say Indian. They say I want to be a citizen of the state of origin. They say subjects of the Emperor of Morocco. Now, you hear what they're saying? This is a claim in the petition. Your Moors should know how to write now. Now, somebody said, well, oh man, why they enforce treaty is going to come up in this here. The reason why they following the petition, because they know international law, they know diplomatic procedures. The only one that they can go to, they didn't go to, I want you to hear these, Moors, he didn't go to the courts. He went to the legislative branch that was the will of the people. The legislative branch of the states have power to write statutes and bills to bring the state in obedience to the treaty. They already have to be obedient to the Constitution based on their representative signatures when the contract and treaty was first, the charter was first formed. That's a compact agreement. They don't have to pass a bill only if the state, only if the judiciary branch or the executive branch or agency did something that was in violation of that charter or their own constitution, then they'll pass a bill to make sure that they can rectify that. Now, he filed a petition to the House. Why? Because he knows that the only way he's going to be respected as a Moor, he got to let the legislative branch know who passed the laws. Now, I'm going to get to this. And residents in this state, this is what he said. He said he residents in the state. Now I'm going to tell you the resident in the state, he mean. He's an alien. Even though it said and resident in this state, that means he just reside there as an alien. That's all. Because when you use the word Moor here, and you say you reside in the state, that means you residing in the jurisdiction of the state. That means the Moor, you're residing, you living there as what? A Moor, alien. I got to break this down so they know. You got to break this down so you know now. This is real Drew Poodle. I like the PowerPoints. I'm going to get to them. praying that in case they should commit any fault amenable to be brought to justice, that they as a subject to a prince in alliance with the United States of America. I want you to hear that again. They vote as a voter, registered voter, as part of the state. I have a right to be protected in the Constitution. I'm gonna break this down. May be tried under the same laws as the citizens of this state, which will be liable to be tried. Now listen to this. And not under the Negro Act, which was received and read. There's a difference. It say laws as the citizens of this state who be liable to be tried, and not under the Negro Act, which was received and read. The humble petition of Francis, Daniel, Hammond, and Samuel, free Moors, on behalf of themselves and their wives, Fatima, Flora, Sarah, and the Claudine, Corinda, humbly showeth that your petition some years past had the misfortune was fighting in the defense of their country. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. They say country. What you talk about? You gonna register somebody else's election, state of origin vote. These people say they got a country. Are you serious? Are you listening to this? They say country. I didn't hear them say state. I'm going further. See, they became a citizen. Matter of fact, they didn't even call themselves a citizen. They said resident. Oh, see, they said they're resident. I mean, they just reside. They live in the jurisdiction, the boundaries of the state. But they say free Moor, that makes them an alien. Therefore, they're protected by treaty. The treaty gonna come in. That here we go. To be captured, their wives are made prisoners of war by one of the kings of Africa. Kings of Africa. So we know what's going on now. We know the kings were taking even Moors in servitude. That a certain Captain Clark had them delivered to him on a promise that they should be redeemed by the emperor of Moroccan ambassador then residing in England. Now let's stop right here. You know what England they talking about, right? Talking about here, the colonies. England is in 13 colonies. That's the England they talking about. That's the only place he's taking them at. In England, he's not taking over Europe. And
so there's a promise that was made.
But there's a promise the African kings realized and released them to Captain Clark. Captain Clark promised when they get to England. What
did he promise? What did Captain Clark promise?
In order to have them return to their own country. Now we get somewhere. See, everybody think when they hear the word England, they think you're talking about overseas. They're not knowing that that's established colony jurisdiction. The 13 colonies were considered as a country binding together as a country. That was England. They don't want to tell nobody this.
All right, so what did Captain Clark promise?
He promised to return them to their own country, instead of which he brought them to this state and sold them for slaves. Since that period, they had by the greatness industrial, by enabled to purchase their freedom from their respective masters. And now pray your honorable house. The court? Did he say court? I'm gonna explain to you. I explain to you, and I'm gonna explain why the house is up there like that. That a free-born subject of a prince now in alliance with the United States, that they may not be considered as subjects to a law. Oh, you hear this? That they may not be considered as subjects to a law of this state. And you talk about you're going to vote in the election.
Why? Why are they not be subject
now,
to the laws of the state?
He said, look what he said, now enforce called the Negro law. But if they shall unfortunately be guilty of any crime or misdemeanor against the laws of the land, that they may have a just trial by a lawful jury, and your petitioner, as is duly bound, will ever pray, in order that it may be referred to the committee for the following gentlemen were accordingly appointed. Mr. Justice Glinkman, General Pinklin, with that right, Pinkley,
Yeah, pink.
And Mr. Edward was the Routledge.
Rutledge.
Mr. Edward Ringlish reported from the committee to whom was referred the petition of the free Moors. Now you notice it never said Negro, black, colored. They call them what they was, Moors, which he read in his place and afterward delivered in it at the clerk table, where it was again read for information. Ordered that it be taken into immediate consideration, which being read, though was agreed to, and is as follows. Visa report that they have considered the same and are of an opinion. Adjudication. Ain't that adjudication? An opinion of the court is adjudication and judgment. That's a decision. The parliament making a decision, look what they base it on. They are enforcing the treaty to protect these Moors' rights. That they have considered the same and are of opinion that no law of this state can and is constructed or operate apply to them, and that persons which were subjects of the Emperor of Morocco, being free in this state, are not tribal by the laws for the better ordering and governing of Negroes and other slaves. Resolved that this house do agree with the report. Now, I can go deep into this. I'm glad.
All right, there we go.
Now, here we go.
Here we go.
For you individual Moors, this man had the empire up and running. This official here, this is a subject of Morocco. When you make a claim all the way through, learn from this and know where to make your claim at. I told him about the Einhorn case. The district attorney went to the House. Why? Because the House passed law by writing and the Senate.
Break down the case. Back.
That's the Einhorn case.
Break it down. Yeah,
Pennsylvania, if you want it, contact Professor.
No. Just break the case down. Now, where they can get the case.
The case was Einhorn.
Tied in
Einhorn,
case to what you're doing.
An Einhorn house, a woman was found in the trunk in the early 70s. Einhorn was suspected of committing the crime. Einhorn never got arrested. Einhorn fled. They turned around and filed charges on Einhorn, and he's not even here. I want you to hear this.
Einhorn fled to where?
Had a trial, he fled to France, a treaty nation with the United States. Also have an extradition agreement with the United States, too, treaty with the United States. He fled to France and became a citizen of France because he married a French rich woman at France. When that happened, they tried him without him being present, without testimony of a witness. Once he got convicted, they found out he was dead, living good. They tried to go and say they're going to get him and bring him back. His lawyer that his wife handled went to France and said, you can't deliver him because he was not there. He was not tried. Based on violation of the treaty, in violation of the extradition agreement, international treaty we have with France. So you can't bring nobody back and give the death penalty and put them to death, or even hold them liable for a crime when they wasn't present. They didn't have a right. They have representation. They didn't have a witness. They have a trial. Nothing. It's a kangaroo trial. So when France said, we passed a decree, you can't get him. He can live here free and go about whatever he wants. Let him go. Lynn Abrahams didn't know what to do. So she had attorney file an appeal.
District Attorney of Philadelphia at the time.
Lynn Abrahams had an attorney file on behalf of Einhorn with the judiciary. Listen to me. The judiciary could not fix that constitutional violation because they knew that it was de facto. It was nothing done. There's no record. It's not placed in evidence. There's no record. They went to the Supreme Court. Same thing. It's no law. That's the Constitution. Go to the Third Circuit. Go to the United States. Nobody want to do nothing with it. Then Abraham, oh my God, what I'm going to do? She goes over to a jurist. The jurors say, hey, what we have here is a breach in the constitutional structure that had to be fixed. and the courts can't do it because they the one that made a breach. Under the original intent of the Constitution, the judiciary cannot make a law to take away a right of a man that's a judgment put in the kind of article in the Constitution that gives him that right. She said, go to the legislators. When that happened, you have to call the masonaries in, the masons and the fixers, the engineers, which are the legislators. All they will have to do is go into a special session and pass a bill, sign it, sanction it, and get the governor to sign it. And that bill will correct, like going in fixing that structural damage that was done. And when that happened, they went to France with that and say the law was passed, a law was passed that anybody that tried that way is unconstitutional and they had to be released, be recharged and redone. France said, now you're following constitutional law. You're following the treaty. You're following the, what you call when they transfer you.
Extradition
agreement.
Extradition
agreement. Now what they did was the courts say we can release Einhorn because he has to go back and you have to charge him now. He's not even charged. They reverse everything. And he said you can't give a death penalty because you can't give a man a death penalty and it's nothing. So they say, agree, they signed it. They brought him back and I think he went to court and something else they did and he's appealing it, but he got a fair shake. Now I'm showing you what she did. See, I'm learning you law. You see, I'm explaining to you what the free Moors did here. See, when you file a petition, and most of y'all Moors don't know that you can file a petition with the legislative house. Yes, you can. You just don't read law. You can do it based on your status because you can give the state the opportunity to pass a bill when you go in their political jurisdiction, their laws and anything about for taxes, nothing. The problem is if you don't have a Moorish governor, nobody claiming to be that. They don't know how to do it. There's no structure. These men here and women took it upon themselves. That's why I know they had some kind of wits about law. They made it clear that they're not of the state. Now I'm gonna get to Abdul points on the board. Points of analogy of the sun-dry free Moors. Analysis case. Clarification of legal status. That was made clear from day one. There was Moors. Let me get over here so you can see. From day one, they made a claim that there was free Moors. Notice the word free Moors. There's a captain, which is like a cop, that's going to tell you any damn thing as he out there doing commerce. He don't know law. Captain Clark didn't know law. That's why he took him down every nig. He didn't give a shit. He gave out money. So police officers, whether your people, melanated, Moors, whoever, is Captain Clark. When you out there operating their vehicle, you out there in commerce, in their buildings, you're going to deal with Captain Clark. He got a vessel. He drive around getting people in his vessel to sell them. The police taking people in their car to transfer them to a holding detention center, which is a depository, a subdivision of depository, because that's a surety. And they hold you there, and you being sold. See, they were sold outrightly. You being sold because they say they made up a structure, a legislative vice structure of laws, codes, not laws, codes, statute, policies that say you violate their civil disobedience based on the conscience of this legislative body that make these laws. You violate what we say is right, what we say is civil. Now you fall into their school of thoughts. Second, get an African king involved, a sovereign over a nation is involved here. Listen to what I'm saying now. Who's the sovereign? In this case, the President of the United States and the Congress. They are in the capacity as a people monarchy. The legislative branch and the president or the governor or legislative branch is this. Look at it. This is right here. Here they go. Right here. See this? State of origin. State of origin. Of origin. They are the branch of government is them. Right here. People monarchy. That's it. Next, we had the Emperor of Morocco. The Emperor of Morocco is like the Pharaoh, the ancient pharaohs. Under him is the exercise seat of the people monarchy, which is the Deys, the Beys, and the subjects of Morocco that makes them operate based on the Muhammad codes, and they operate based on their own private ecclesiastic law. The Emperor of Morocco, by signing with foreign powers, all the sovereigns agreed to be protected under his ring. Because he considered as what? Right here, the emperor, the supreme power. Now, promise made by the African king. The African king made a promise to him, Captain Clark. Now I'm gonna show you what happens. The parliament, when they pass laws, bills, statutes, and stuff, and they sign them in the law that's going to oppress the Moors, and tell the Moors and get the Moors false hopes if they claim to be citizens of the state. Now what happens is that's a private agreement with the police departments. You hear me? Police department. That's a private agreement. Because the police department going far back on that's a structure. I'm a police department of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I'm a police department of the state of Delaware. I'm a United States Marshal. See my badge. I just give me the authority. You hear me? Dumbass boy, you hear me? That's what they saying. Now, why we ain't doing that? You said he falling back on the structure? Now, I'm going to show you how the sun-dried Moors fell back on status and this. Status and knowledge. Knowledge of what? Of not to be captured by someone's school of thought, not to get caught up in somebody's philosophy and opinion, and then not to let them render a decision and then give a judgment against me, who are you when you do not the delegative authority to do that. Now, Moorish nationality, that's what Moorish nationality here is the same thing. This they rely on. They kept saying they Moors. Next, Moorish Treaty, they made it clear. Then the treaty aligns with your United States. They made it clear. So we're dealing with claim. We're dealing with claims. I'm right
Claims. They claim.
We're dealing with claims. Now, pay a debt. Now, what you hear, I'm going to get to this part here. Now, we get back what Tamara said. Now, I'm going to go into that. I'm glad Tamara said about the fiat. Tamara, do you realize these men were so illegally through deceit, deception, and coerce, and force, and to servitude? Now, what did they use to get out of servitude? Not no Spaniard coins, not no coins of Great Britain, not no coins of France, not no pesos. What did they use to get their freedom out? They used the currency that was regulated in the state of origins, was the United States. And it was able to use it and not be bound because there was an alien bound by treaty, because they never say that they were citizens of the state. They said they reside in the state. Then I'm living here, but I'm a free Moor. Clarification of legal status. Moorish nationality. Was able to pay a debt, and they claim all the way through that there was an alien. Get to this. I'm glad Abdul put these PowerPoints up here. On a vessel of a foreign country. They on a vessel that's Captain Clerk, have a flag of the United States on. Ain't that something? Here's a vessel that got a flag. The Moors go in there and we made a promise. Extraterrestrial jurisdiction. Now, I'm explaining this part right here. In a government, when it's formed, and when the legislators write laws, and the Senate passes them, and the president signs them, they become the law of the land, and they become the people when they elect them. And what they not giving them bills. The people are supposed to create the bills themselves and offer to the elected representatives. And the elected representatives are supposed to read it out. So these are people from one of my district. We got to vote on this. And they all come together. And that's a real faithful way of passing the intents of the people. This is how the people lose their sovereignty and lose control. The moment you elect somebody and allow them to put their school of thought as a private society of a house, give their opinion, their philosophy, and then come up with their school of thought, and then have their decision, and then write it in law of judgment and sanction it. You know what just happened? You became now under not the control of the government. They control you now. And now they can keep doing this every time you vote. But the president or the governor have power to do what? Only enforce what is in the Constitution that was put together by the legislative structure. They only can enforce. The courts can only enforce when a dispute comes and say, is this applied to the person properly based on that charter? That's all they can do. But the House is a branch of government itself when one can say, excuse me, I'm a national, free national. I can't go to the courts because the courts don't have jurisdiction. I'm coming to your house to bring it that any laws that you pass, you can't put me into the same status that these people here, and you can't use them laws against me as a citizen of the state based on clarification of legal status and Moorish nationality and Moorish treaty. Now, I want you to hear this. What kicks in now, this here. Now the House has power to usurp jurisdiction now. You know what they can say? They can usurp jurisdiction to look at based on the law, the Constitution, what it said, its intent. What's in that Constitution? You're only forcing what in that Constitution say about treaties. You're not forcing the Constitution, you're forcing the treaty. Because you notice in all his things, this here clarified legal status, he never claimed that he was a citizen of the state or nothing. He never claimed that he went to court. He never claimed that I went to governor. He just claimed in a petition that he asked the House. What he was saying is that the House had power to make a law that be in alliance with the treaty. Now, that's a jurisdiction itself. He went there, filed a petition. That was not the courts, was not the president. This man went to the House for a reason. He's forcing this alienation. Somebody said, "What are you talking about, Shem, alienation?" He said he resided in the state. He lived in the states territory. He said he's a free Moor. According to the treaty, that's alienation. Stop breaking this down. You don't see this. You're not a jurist. You don't see this. You don't know this.
Well, that's why you're teaching.
That's what I'm teaching.
So that they can come to see it.
Now, you know what I'm saying now, Tamara? When they say reside, Tamara, that means they live in their look. They never said they were citizens of the state, so that kills that theory they was talking about they can vote, a Moor can vote, be a United States citizen, or vote to be a resident, because all you're doing is a form of nationalization. You're only nationalizing yourself. You know, different than Japan coming over here trying to do what? Boom. Because the moment you sign a registration form, you're crossing over from Morocco over into this. And I'm going to explain another thing. I'm going to go into this briefly. Under the SEP Act of 1933, I'm going to find it and get it on my other drive. It's called Resolution 75. The Moors crossed over political jurisdictions from Morocco. What are you talking about? They ain't their land. They come from the other side of the world. You think they came when the boat came in, they wasn't from it. No, they went into the city, the county of Philadelphia, and made it clear in the state of Pennsylvania, political jurisdiction. They said, we pray that we use our name. They went to the House. Why the hell they ain't go to immigration and went to the court? They went to the legislative house in Pennsylvania where we at. Resolution 75, to make sure they keep they titles as bays and days, mean they was officials of a government. In 1933, they still was making that claim. And they didn't go to the courts, they didn't go to immigration, they didn't go to a special department, they went to the House. So a House can pass a bill that respect the treaty. Resolution 75. Come on now, let's stop playing. Captivity, this is when you go in captivity. The moment that you don't clarify the legal status based on Moorish nationality and Moorish treaties, you go into captivity. Unfortunately, they went into captivity through fraud, force. And they freed themselves with knowledge. And they was able to keep their sovereignty. You go into captivity because you want to try to be registered to vote. When you register to vote, you're not. Where'd that come from? If that in that case, they'd have did that. It's the register 75. They would have get there.
Well, the whole, the thing is, position is that our people are seeking benefits.
I understand that. But still don't take away the fact you have to understand when you
No,
do that,
I mean, I'm not
you
change the
go right
fact.
into
No.
captivity.
I'm not talking about doesn't change the principle.
You're getting away from this. See this here? Alienation. You're getting away from this and you're going into this captivity.
Yep.
Now, amity and maritime jurisdiction is formed through what? I want you to hear this. Flip over here. Flip over? Okay, yes. Amity and maritime jurisdiction is determined by what? Registration form. That's a contract. That's amity. There were contracts. You put in the amity. You bound now. You sign that form. You go on the vessel now saying you want to vote. You want benefits. You want
because we're a foreigner to that jurisdiction.
Absolutely. That's
not to the land.
Jurisdiction. Absolutely. You got nothing to do with country and land.
Yeah, jurisdiction.
Just talking about
to the United States jurisdiction.
Just talking about treaties and agreements entered to, and therefore, when you do amity, you're dealing with adhesive, apply, express contracts. And let me explain what I mean. The more walk in there, you do this. You fill out a form. In order to vote, you got to fill out a form. What are you doing? You're registering it. You let them take and bear your rights away. And then you're going to turn around and tell her, I'm a Moor. I got a right to vote. And they go to our Constitution, say we go to the contract. Constitution said Moor can vote ahead. Where's it at?
It's not in there.
So what they do is they do a de facto code, and they allow you to waive your sovereignty based on this right here, on a maritime and amity and maritime contract in the jurisdiction. That means you waive the right. You're not claiming to be a participant of your own government. You're waiving that by going and registering. Remember, register means to bear and take. When they walk away with this paper, what do they bear? They bear your allegiance. Now you don't have that no more. You can't say no different than you come to Japan and leave and go on a boat without Japan permission and come over here and naturalize you. You know you can't go back to Japan, right? In order to go back to Japan, you got to go to a ceremony. All this stuff you got to go to, and you got to go to and hope they take you back because you gave away your origin, your country. Now you don't have a country no more. There you go. There you go. See what I'm saying? Commerce and trade of human cargo. That's what you are. Now you're going over there now, and the law say you got to pay taxes.
Yeah, because you're paralleling what took place then and also what takes place now.
You open a store, you got to get their permission. You go fishing, you need their permission. You go hunt, you need a permission. You can't go in your water. You can't even cut your own water on to survive. So I gotta wash my bag. You ain't got no money, go to a damn shelter. You can't cut your own water on necessity. Commerce and trade of human traffic. You got to pay them now for your own natural necessities. You see what's going on now? Free Moors. See this it. This to protect you right here. Right here. Free Moors. Free Moors. Let me show it. Free Moors. Free Moor. That's what they claim. So when you start talking about all these analogies and architecture, it does not balance with well-settled law. That's you doing that. Don't listen. Best thing you do is just be quiet. You know, it's an old saying. This says better be thought of as a fool and open your mouth and remove all doubt.
All doubts, yeah.
That's the truth. This say even a fool is considered wise when they do what? Keep their mouth shut. Some of y'all just talk because y'all got a hole in your face. That's it. I'm being honest. Got a problem, mental problem, man. Subjects of Morocco. What you mean? Nationals living in the dominion of the emperor, and anything happen, the emperor steps in and fight for them, protect them. Alien bound by treaty. Free Moor, once again, bound by treaty. Alien. You're not bound by treaty and living in a resident in the state jurisdiction. That means you captivity. You register to vote, you're in captivity. Fighting in defense of their country. Now let me explain what this means. Anytime you create a structure a society, and you've been functioning at that based on prehistoric principles and laws that gave another nation permission, a crown to be there, and then they subjects come there and try to upper hand you and try to take away your land and put you in servitude. You have a right to fight and defeat them. Protect your women and children, your land. You have a right to that. That's the laws of nature, God. That's the laws of nature. You got a right to that. Made prisoners of war. When you are in a fight with someone and they outnumber you and they take you into captivity, not based on your voluntary consent, based on an act against nature, the international law made it clear that you have to return all that land you took from the party. That's why the College of the Gospel of New Haven Society made it clear that a dissolving of an empire doesn't take away the people's right. Even a war, when you have war, people have a right to. That's why the Treaty of Versailles Treaty was given with the United States, giving the people a chance to keep their estates. You couldn't take their estates. So, made a prisoner of war. You made a prisoner of war most times by your thinking, by your evoking, by your writing. It's not an open war no more. It's your consent, voluntary consent through indoctrination, psychological coercion, and then once you hear, you have to. You ever somebody say, "Step out and wake up, call coming." You waking up fast is determine how you gonna die or get broke up. Now we're in a situation you're like that now. Y'all more than be put in the spot right now. You can sit there and tell me, "Oh man, I don't comprehend." Okay, stay that way. No different than a bus coming or a truck coming or a car coming. It's gonna make collide. Believe me, tragedy gonna collide with your ass whether you sleep or woke. You better do something about it. That's what we're trying to do. Purchase their freedom. Now let me explain this to me, so you understand. Agree with thy adversary while thou art in the way with him. Agree with thy adversary while thou art in the way with him. Let me explain what that means. I'm down here. Somebody did what? I'm going to get something back somebody took. How do I get it back? When they took it against the law. I come with my proper status. I get it back by what? My status. I make it clear how I purchase, how I get it back is I come back with my status and I use whatever I need to use, fiat, to get that back. And right now, our land was taken illegally. So why? I will go ahead and raise the money and get the more townships and all that, buy them. And what I just did, do a deed by treaty. I did a proper exchange as alien, bound by treaty. I'm allowed to use this fiat to discharge debts. I'm allowed to use it. Yes, I am. Then do a treaty by deed because I have a right to it because it's my land. So they don't understand how to when say purchase that. They so caught up in not forbearing and forgiving. Man, you was born into this shit. What you gonna do about it? Your thinking gonna be get you out of it. That's the only way we're gonna get out of this. What we're doing right now. Listen, from the time of Noble Drew Ali, ain't nobody been doing anything. We don't see our police riding around here. We don't see no Moorish governments. All I can say is the only thing I know is that for the last century, the only faces that was a statue was the Grand Sheiks. And they did not know how to do civics. And I forgive you. I'll forgive you. Now let's get aboard, make it happen now. Let's do it. I'm done.
We're for unity.
Do it.
We're for unity.
We can do it.
Man, that was great, Shem. Thank you. I know that's something we talked about last week, and we wrote those points of. It was great analysis, and wrote those points of
Hey, save that.
analysis.
We gonna need that. No, we'll keep that.
I got that typed up.
Okay.
Mama, I'm ahead of you, but
No,
it's
you
just
got that typed
it's
up already,
just
right?
written
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
I typed it. I'm ready. I'm
We talked
on it,
about
brother.
that, right, last
I'm on
week,
it, brother. Last
Yes.
week. I'm on it, brother. You know that.
Thank you. Yes,
Come
you
on,
did.
Sick and all, we're still getting it done. Oh man. Yes. Once again, we have the contract law course coming up. That's next Saturday. That's in 8 days. All right, September 19th, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. You can go on the United Republic of Morocco's Facebook page, the House of Reawakening Minds Facebook page, Tamara Il's Facebook page, Abdullah Bey's Facebook page, and others. You'll see the flyer. All right, 300 for the course, as Shem mentioned. All right, so we have leading by example. We have put our energies in building this embassy. All right, Terrence is downstairs getting it down. He's put his sweat equity in, and I mean, he been with us for like 7 months now. I mean, he was, wow, I tipped my fez. I mean, we all know Tamriel's been rocking and rolling with us for about 16, 17 months.
Yes, sir.
So definitely, we're the caucus members. I bow and tip my fez and unwrap my turban. All right. So we're going to continue to work. I'm excited. We have the open house. Open house, October 24th. Our open house here. It'll be live, Facebook Live all day long. Facebook Live all day long. You'll have the, we'll go on Facebook Live all day long. All day. It'll be all day long. We have Moors coming from all over the land. All over the land. October 24th. Flyer will be out. All right. Moors coming from all over. All right. To celebrate the grand opening. All right. So the flyer will be out there. Grand opening of the United Republic of Morocco, this great embassy. Thank you. The grand opening of the United Republic of Morocco, this embassy here. All right. 5 months of hard labor, work, blood, sweat, and tears. All right. So I want to thank Tariq Bey for his service.
Yes.
All right.
Thank Minister Taj.
And thank Tariq Bey for his service to helping us, with the major work. We had a lot of people who have given their finances, given their labor, given their support, to make this possible. We have the backyard, so definitely we're gonna put the energy out there that it doesn't rain that day, so that we can have the backyard. All right, we want to enjoy the backyard. Hoping it's not too cold. Even if it is, we'll still be out there. We'll still be out there. If it's 70 degrees, 65 degrees, that's good enough. We'll still be out there. We're gonna enjoy that. But, we enjoy the backyard. We put a lot of work in the backyard. All right, so I'm excited. I'm excited. We determined the date on Wednesday night. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, excited. So October 24th, flyer will be out there. We'll continue to push it, promote it. All right. And that gives us people enough time, because we got people coming from the West Coast, the Midwest. All right. That give them enough time to prepare, to plan, financially, because they have to get a hotel, plan for flights and so forth. All right. Because they definitely want to be here. They want to see it, though they've seen it, on Facebook Live, but they actually want to be present. I'm excited. All right, Tamara, take. Also, again, we have the Law Nations book. I recommend. I'm going to be doing a series of lessons on this book, so I encourage you to get the book. I have quite a few people who have purchased it over the past month. All right, so we're going to be having our classes on the United Republic of Morocco on Wednesday, second and fourth Wednesday of the month, starting next month, second and fourth Wednesdays of the month. All right, classes will be well structured. All right. Of course, we have the course, but we'll have the second and fourth Wednesday of the month. All right, we'll have our classes. Then we'll continue to do the House of Reawakening the Mind every second Friday. As I've been doing this since August of 2017. I brought Shem on about 10 months ago. All right. So I want to thank Shem for joining me on this platform. All right. But we're going to be looking to expand with, our platform, United Republic of Morocco. It's every second and fourth Wednesday of the month, starting next month. All right. Thank you again. Tamara, take us home.
Thank you, Nobles. Thank you, Nobles.